You ready?
Yeah.
Now, we are doing a lot of wood in this house, and you guys have noticed. We feel like there's a couple of questions that keep coming up in our comments, and that is basically around the people who ask, why so much wood, and are you going to do any drywall? Now, some people I think just have it in their mind that wood is for accent walls, and you shouldn't do wood everywhere. We just see wood as a wall covering, and not an accent piece. It's no different than drywall in some ways. And nobody would say, why so much drywall, even though you do it everywhere. So that's what we're treating the wood as, a simple covering. Now the reason we chose wood is because before we've even found this house, we're talking way back in Michigan, when we were still searching for a home, Ashley said,
no more drywall. I'm sick of it, for a lot of reasons.
Now, we're not here to bash drywall. It has its place. It can be finished beautifully and everything's great. It's inexpensive and it can be quick to put up if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't like it. So we committed, and we've said this before but we never stuck to it, we committed to saying no drywall. In our next home, we're not doing any drywall. We're sick of it, we don't like it, we don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
When we found this house, it was pretty amazing because most of the house had wood walls. All of the original wood walls were still intact. The only drywall was in this section.
Which was the addition built in the early 2000s.
So, we gutted this addition, and instead of putting drywall back, we decided to keep with the original home, keeping in line with the theme and style and age of the home, and we are making matching tongue and groove boards that match pretty closely the original wood in the house.
Yep.
Now, if we had found a different home, maybe we wouldn't be making this wood. We might have just used a stock tongue and groove board, or maybe plywood, or maybe some other alternative wall covering.
Something, but we just didn't want to do drywall.
So that's what led us down this path, and we're loving it. We're going to do wood boards like this throughout the whole home.
And there's not going to be any drywall.
Now, there might be a couple spots where we do something different than this style, but as far as we know right now, this is what we're going to stick with.
Yeah.
The kitchen, we're not sure. This might not go in the kitchen. I've even had thoughts of doing the bedroom a little bit differently. We're probably going to do wood boards, but I did have this kind of vision of these really grand paneled walls that I could make with trim and plywood and make it really beautiful, but I thought maybe it'd be a little too high-end, too over the top for this house. I don't think the wood gets overwhelming or monotonous because it's just the wall covering. It is what it is, not any more than drywall would. So that's all there is to it. We're just trying to match this part of the house to the old part of the house. It's going to be very cohesive and it's going to be all wood everywhere, and we like it. We got our wall finished. That was holding us up last time from getting this wall finished. Now that that's done, we're going to be working our way up the ceiling here. It's all going to be angle cuts, so we're going to try our best to match those angles and hopefully get these installed nice and tight.
Oh, this is tight.
You know what I should do is angle the angles, back cut the angles so they're...
It might fit in though.
I'll do that and the rest.
There.
How's it looking?
Good so far.
Alright, here's the third piece. I hope this one goes in a little bit better. I think we're going to get the angle closer this time. Let me see if I can get it started on my... This is just popping back out, so I'm going to have to just start nailing
look
it.
at it.
Yeah, I know, I have to just start nailing this end.
Now this is the test. Will 68.5 degrees work? Oh, it's perfect.
It is.
I think so.
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We have 3 feet of wall left to cover, and it's going very well. Problem is, we only have 3 boards left. So we're going to get those 3 boards on the wall, see what lengths we need, get to the store, pick up another batch of wood to process.
Perfect.
I really like using a clamp whenever possible to squeeze these boards together tight. Our wood is never perfectly straight, and sometimes it has a crown to it or something, and basically it'll be touching on the ends, but maybe a slight gap in the middle, and that's when you can't just hammer it in. It really helps to use a reversed clamp to spread and put constant force on it, and then you get nice clean edges. No cracks. And when my clamp can't reach something, I just screw a block of wood to the studs to push against. Okay, so here's the good news. We finished the wall all the way up and it looks amazing. It really does look good in here. So now we're going to be doing this wall. This is the opposite side, just as tall. Now we are just starting this wall, and before I got this first piece on, I just wanted to show you guys this. Now this is something I installed actually several weeks ago now, but I never had a chance to show it to you. But I want to show it to you before we close this up with wood. This is called a structured media panel. And basically, think about it as similar to your electric panel where your breakers are, but this is made for low voltage communication lines. So your phone, internet, cable, all that kind of stuff. Structured media is just a system used to organize that and keep it centralized in a single box where everything's accessible and protected, instead of having all these wires and your router and your splitters and all that stuff, junction things, all that all over the place. So to keep our house organized, I installed this. It screws right to the studs like a regular electrical panel. They come in plastic or metal. I got a metal panel. It has holes in it to add accessories, and what you do is they have different shelves and hooks and different things that you can put in here. I'll add all the modules later. I have a phone module for splitting off the phone lines, and I have a Ethernet module for doing the Ethernet lines and all that stuff. So hopefully this is big enough to fit our needs. Now down here in the bottom, it has a built-in electrical outlet so that it has power. I will probably have to add a power strip in there regardless, but it has power. And this is a piece of conduit And this conduit is just to make it easy for me to run wires later. It's not necessary, it's just the way I wanted to do it. And basically it goes right down through the floor and stops. And that's how I'm gonna get all my wires, like my phone and internet, into the box and through the house later on after the walls are covered. So I just wanted to share with you guys what this was, because I knew if you guys saw it, you'd be wondering, and that's what it is, just a structured media box. Oh, and it does have a cover that we'll add after the wall is done. It's just a door that swings open. And even though this might seem like an odd location right behind our front door, but it was the best spot that we could find for it because it was out of the way, because nothing goes behind a door. So we just stuck this here. And I just want to show you that I mounted it really low, so you can see how high the top of this is. And that's actually to keep it out of my eye plane. Like, I want the room to look nice. We're just trying to keep it low and out of the way. We're going to keep going on this project. As you guys can see, we have another batch of wood ready to go, finished, and let's get cutting them, get them on the wall. We should be able to get up to here today, right here. So that's the goal. Let's get it done.
No, you're too little for that.
I think these boards are a little bit too...
Stay back here. It's too loud up there.
When we get done, I'll adjust it so it's all flush with this. Everything's looking good. I guess we're committed to putting this box here, even though I'm not fond of it, but it works. No going back now, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess we're going to keep working, get the rest of these boards on the wall, and I'll show you the progress when we're done. Okay guys, that's all I'm doing for now. We made it up as high as I could. We have 3 more boards left, but ran into a little issue over here. This gap, if you can see it, is quite a bit wider than the board is. Now, it doesn't line up with both sides of the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually making a custom piece that's going to fit in that spot. It's going to be wider than these boards, but in the corner behind a door, it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to notice. The reason it didn't line up is because the wood we're using isn't very precise. And we've bought it at different times and even from different locations. So what happens is, even though they're 1x4s, some of them are a little wider, some of them are a little narrower. Now, say this first batch on the opposite side of the room was a wider board. It might have been a hair over 3.5 inches. That little bit of extra measurement adds up as we come across. Now, this batch of wood might have been a hair less than 3.5 inches. So when we come up, we have a wider gap up here. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just different with wood. If I was going to do this like to a very high standard, probably should have ripped every single one of these in the whole room on a table saw to make sure they were precise, but we weren't that worried about it. Even though they start level on the floor, they end up at different spots on either side of the door. So right now I have my custom piece drying. I just put stain on it. We're going to do 2 coats of sealer. It's such a small piece. We'll probably have it done today and installed tonight. And then we're going to start another batch of wood to finish up above. As we work through this side, the peak, and around the attic door. And in fact, we have been working on the attic door. We actually have the attic door and the loft door made and ready for paint. That's going to be coming soon too, so that's pretty exciting because right now, I'm not complaining about the heat, but it's hot in here because of that attic, solely because of that attic. When you stand right here, it's like having an oven door open and that heat rolls out at you and you can just feel it.
It's probably at least 120 in there.
Yeah. The hallway is looking awesome. The color is great, and it feels good to have this much done. We have enough wood in the workshop right now to finish this entire entryway. And then we start the bedroom. The really, really fun part, because that means we're so close to finishing. So look forward to that. That's all we have for now. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
See ya.